Hey everyone, my name is Dorian Crutcher. Welcome to an episode of Blockheads, where in this video we'll be reworking and updating the original Blockheads voting application tutorial video. Thanks to you guys, the original video got a lot of great organic viewership. But you know, as time goes on, libraries get updated, and unfortunately applications get outdated. So now it's time to build something new, functional, and working so you guys can have a working decentralized application. So grab your computers, sit tight, and let's build a new version of Blockvote. Better! And it's not stopping. Okay everyone, let's get started. So first, let me show you guys what we are creating. We are creating Blockvote. So I'm going to show you guys what I designed in Figma to show you out the layout. So this is the home page. This would just be a simple list of polls. So every existing poll that is currently running on Blockvote will appear here. This is the actual polling station, the meat of the application. So you can see the two candidates, which is Pikachu and Kirby. The prompt here is like, who's more likely to win Smash? So I think it's gonna be Kirby because, you know, he's one of my favorite characters, so you guys can fight me on that. Well, and literally it's in Smash Brothers. But you can have your own opinions if you'd like to hear that in the comments. We also have our two voting buttons to vote for our candidates, and then the results of the vote will appear only when the vote has been cast. So we're gonna design a whole way to record the users to be able to actually see the results of the vote. And then here is the actual new polling station. So here's the this is how users will be able to enter in and create new polls for the blockchain, or onto the blockchain and onto the application, so other users can get involved. So yeah, we have a whole project to work out, so we can get started. I'll show you guys the actual application too. So yeah, this is what the home page will look like. We'll be using React Bootstrap to kind of circumvent most of the CSS, designing stuff or steps. The user will be able to essentially see the prompts here, be able to click on go to polls, and then you can see that the user that these two images will appear, and the user can vote on them. And once they vote, you can see the results here. So 2 votes for Kirby, 0 votes for Pikachu. If you want to create a new poll, you can go through this entire process by entering in the candidate's name and then entering in the candidate's image URL, so you can actually enter in their pictures, just like off the web or something. And then we're also going to enter in the prompt name. It's like, what's this vote about and what's going on with it? And we're going to be using that as our key for a lot of our smart contract code. Yeah, so lots of fun stuff in store for you guys. So let's just get started. Hey everyone, so a few quick items you'll need to get started on building your cool decentralized application. So first head on over to Node.js's website to download the recommended version of Node.js, which comes with the npm package manager as well as the npx package executor, which we're going to be using to kick off our create new app project template to get started with building our application. After that, head over to Yarn's website. Their installation page kind of looks like this, and follow their instructions to download Yarn. We have a bunch of scripts built into the project template that will be used to execute and download our packages as well as execute our project. So this will help us make sure things run smoothly and we can download things effectively. Once you have that done, install your Microsoft Visual Studio Code IDE by Googling that, Microsoft Visual Studio Code. So we navigate to a page that looks like this. It's our download page. This button automatically accommodates for whichever OS you are working with, but just in case, you can hit this button here and download download the IDE for Windows, for Linux. If you're on Mac, I'm on Mac, so I have everything ready for Mac. And then that's it. Yeah, on to the next step. So step 2 would be to actually run the create new app command to create our project template brought to you by Near. To start off our cool decentralized application, npx create new app -- front end equals React, and the name of the project, which is Blockvote. So that's what this whole line here looks like. So essentially what's happening here is you're saying npx create new app, that's the project template, starter, -- front is equal to React. If we don't put this here, it's going to build out the entire template in vanilla JavaScript, but I'm going to be using React. If you guys do not know how to work with React, I'll include a crash course link in the video to one of my favorite YouTubers, Travis Media, so you guys get a cool, quick ramp up on how to work with React. And then the name of the project, which is Blockvote. The smart contracts are written in 2 languages on Near. So one is AssemblyScript, which is a lot like JavaScript. And then the other one, also, if you guys do not know AssemblyScript, I'll also put a crash course video link in the description for AssemblyScript, also by Travis Media. It's a great way to start writing an AssemblyScript. And then the other language that Near writes their smart contracts in is Rust. It's much more secure, much more safe language. There's a little bit of a learning curve to it, but again, there'll also be another crash course video by Traversy Media, and the link I'll also put in the description for that. And if you guys would like me to make a Rust version of this block vote tutorial video, please let me know in the comments below. I still want to make one anyway because it's good for you guys to have one under your belt. And then with that, we can just jump right into VS Code and get our project started. Okay, everyone, open up your Visual Studio Code IDE to start off creating your project, and then hit on this File button and navigate to this Open button to navigate into the directory of which you want to actually create your project. So I'm in this tutorials folder here. This is where I want to create my project. So I'm just going to hit Open, and it should spit me out here. So there's nothing in this folder right now, so this is what it should look like. Hit Command J if you're on Mac to open up your terminal here. Otherwise, you can just go over to this top bar here, navigate to the terminal button, and select New Terminal to open up this built-in terminal that comes with the Microsoft Visual Studio Code. Type in npx, that was included with our Node.js download. So nps create near app -- front end, as we discussed earlier. If I can spell front end, it's equal to React. And then the name of the project, which is block vote. And hit enter, and we should be underway with our installation. Yeah, this is the done message. We get the happy hacking message. It's really cool, really fun, really lively. So that lets us know that the project has been nice and created. So that is our project folder. We can navigate into it in our terminal. So type in cd, hit tab, and then hit enter to navigate into the block vote folder. Just see this name, switch over to block vote to know that you're in the correct folder. Type in yarn start. To create your project instance. So what it's going to do is going to use NodeMon to run a local Node.js server to kind of show off this cool little project template website that they created in the create near app template. So just give it a quick minute. So that account ID where it says dev and all these numbers, that's a development account or dev count that's actually created on the near network, on the near test net. So anytime you run yarn dev, that actually creates a whole brand new instance of a dev account for you guys to play with. So it comes with cool fake near tokens. It comes with function call access. It comes with a bunch of cool stuff that I'll go into later. It's also where your smart contracts gets deployed onto the test net while you're developing here. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually customize that as well. If you guys do not want to use a dev account, but you guys want to use your own testnet account. So once it says built, it should just kick you over to the, okay, kick me over here, that's fine. Cool, there we go, let's put you up here. There, oh, okay, there we are. So once you guys see this web page here, you guys know that you guys have made your first step into creating your cool decentralized project by running create near app. So good job, guys. So once you get to this page and you see that this entire test application is working, it's time for you guys to go ahead and clear out all of the template code that comes with create near app. Some of it I won't delete everything right away because there's some stuff I want to show you guys and explain in terms of the flow of everything, but for now just follow my lead. So head over to app.js and go after this first curly brace and just delete everything. Replace the end curly brace, make some enter some spaces there and just get rid of that. Okay. And then type in return parentheses div hello world. See hello world appear right here. Go over to global.css and just hit Control A and delete everything. Type in body margin 0 and you should see hello world appear like this. After that, we're gonna go ahead and install React Bootstrap. So go over to React Bootstrap.github.io. Go over to get started, and then copy this line here. Hit Control C to stop your development server. Hit Command V to paste in that line, and start installing React Bootstrap. Okay, so and then in terms of the CSS, we're going to hit this line here and go over to our app.js file and simply import our style sheet. After that, we're going to test that, see if it worked by going over to the search bar and typing in navbar to look for this component here. Scroll down till you find the dark navbar. Oh, and you guys don't have this, but I'm just going to delete this Sass file, this SCSS folder. I don't really need this right now. And then I'm going to paste this in and surround this entire thing with parentheses, just for the return statement. Of course, I have to actually import everything we see here. So import container, navbar, nav dropdown, all from React Bootstrap. So you're going to hit save and yarn start. That's right. So yarn start to restart a development server. X that out. And you should see this entire menu up here. It looks really cool, right? It's perfectly reactive. Yeah, it looks pretty sweet. So we're going to actually remove a lot of these links. Like, we don't need dank memes or more deets. As much as I love dank memes, we don't actually need that. So I'm going to move on to the next step of simply just getting rid of like these lines and putting in what we want. So here where it says dank memes, we're going to just type in login as a placeholder, and then delete this href thing here and this event key too. Where it says more deets, just simply get rid of it and get rid of this as well, and type in what we're going to do. I'm going to call it new poll. So new poll. This entire drop-down section we don't need, so just get rid of it all. Get rid of this pricing and features page. You can keep this nav, this like nav section here. So see what happens. We have new poll and login. Looks pretty good. So there should be some spacing in between this like logo and these two buttons here. So let's see what's going on here. Like, why is that spacing not happening? Okay, figure out what's going on here. It's some weird bug in the CSS. I guess they updated things maybe. But we're gonna replace this ME auto with MX auto and add this class name. It actually looks pretty good. Yeah, so we have MX auto, which moved everything to the side here. And yeah, looks pretty awesome. I want to get ahead and like install something else right off the bat. So that's going to be a React router page. So if you guys aren't familiar with React routers, just wait to like switch between pages in React. So it's a cool way of like switching between components. So React router. If you guys aren't familiar with React router, I will definitely put a tutorial link in the description so you guys can get started on it. Just go over to the quick start option, hit this installation or copy this installation line, Control C to kill your development server, Command V to paste it in, and hit enter. And there we go. Okay, so now we have React router installed. Just copy literally everything from this import statement down to this colon and place that. Let's place this right up here, right below our React Bootstrap stuff. Surround this entire line, these entire lines here with this router tag. So router. Oh, dang it. I don't know why this happens sometimes. Okay, there we are. And then hit yarn start. So this router tag is going to allow us to, it's going to bring in the React router DOM into our page, so we can effectively use router and switch between our pages. So it's really cool. Like, you guys are gonna love it. Let's go ahead and change up some of these href links. So let's delete this one, put a slash here. For this link, we're going to type in href is equal to /new poll. And that's essentially it. That's all we're doing here. And cool. So we have our we have a functioning nav bar. It's really cool. I think the next logical step is to make this login button work. So let's go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to this link here and type in on click. So on click. And put in a simple conditional statement. So this conditional statement is essentially going to check if the user is actually logged in or not. And if not, they're going to run this login function. And if they are, it's going to switch over to a logout function, but display the user's name. So we're going to type in window.account ID is equal to an empty string. And there is actually a sign-in function that comes with near API.js. But for some reason, I just got into the habit of doing it this way. But there is a sign-in button feature, so definitely look for that. Just want to make that clear. So again, what this is essentially saying is if window.account ID is equal to an empty string, that means that the user is not logged in. So we want to run the login function. If the window.account ID is not equal to an empty string, then it is then the user is currently logged in. So we want to run the logout function if this button is clicked again. And I'm sure you guys are wondering where window.account ID is even defined and where that even comes from. So I'm going to go and explain that in a minute. Right after this, we're going to finish this login logout feature. So window.account ID is equal to an empty string, question mark. We're going to display the word login. If we are logged in, then we are going to display the word window.account ID. In other words, the user's name. So now we save that. This login button should work now. So it kicks us over to the wallet. It says, do you want to log in? We'll say yes. And then it kicks us back into the application. You can see our username appear right here. So where is this window.account ID thing get defined? So let's go. It's actually defined here in utils.js. So I'm going to make this as big as possible so you guys can see as much of it as you can. There we go. So let's explain everything that's happening here. So we're going to so this first part of the function is to initialize a contract and set our global variables. This near equals awaits connect line here establishes where we're going to store our key pair. So what this is saying is that we're storing our key pair in browser key in our browser key store. Which is essentially what we want to do for front-end applications. So if we go over to application, go to local storage. I'm not going to expand this all the way out, but you can see all these little near tags here, all these it's squished as much as it possibly can. Okay, there we go. See all these little near keys here? So that's literally the keys to our testnet application. Near config is defined. See where it's defined? It's defined up here. And it's getting that function, it's getting the output of this function called near config. And where's this function even coming from? It's coming from our config folder as defined up here. So let's over to our config folder and see what's in there. In our config.js file, we can see this thing looks massively insane, right? It looks kind of scary, but it's not too bad if you just break out the little chunks. So let's just focus on this little chunk right here. So this is the chunk we're working with right now. Essentially, this function just takes in a parameter called environment, right? To see what our environment is. If our environment variable is equal to the word production or mainnet, it's going to set our config to the mainnet configuration to connect our application to the mainnet blockchain. If it's set to development or testnet, it's going to set it to the testnet RPC. So that's going to set us to the testnet blockchain. This is where we are right now. So right now we're in, again, we're defining this as development. And the environment variable, even the environment variable node env is currently defined to development as well, or testnet. So that's all the config files for. Something too insane. You can even follow some of these. Where's the config file? There we go. You can follow some of these links to actually their legit website. So you can, for example, follow this explorer. You can see the testnet explorer here. see what transactions taking place, see where the block height is, get some useful information here for development, and so on and so forth. So yeah, definitely feel free to play with this and check this out. And just break them into little chunks. It's not this entire thing, so don't worry about that. So let's get out of here. Don't really care about that right now. Let's head back over to utils.js and continue on. So here we have window.contract. This is probably one of the more important features. Well, it's all important. That doesn't work without any of this. So for our window.contract line here, it's essentially establishing a connection to our contract, right? And it's also a place where you're going to define your view methods and your change methods. So what are view methods and what are change methods? So view methods are read-only. They only modify. They do not modify the state of the blockchain. They only return some value. And change methods modify the state of the blockchain, and they usually do not return a value when they're called. So let me explain some keywords here. So state is kind of like, I'm not going to write anything. State is essentially like when you're modifying the state of the blockchain, you are adding information to the blockchain, or you're changing some information to the blockchain. So in other words, like if there's a contract call that says add name, right? And I call it, I'm adding, let's just say my name, Dorian, to the blockchain application. That would be changing the state of the blockchain. Let's just say change that name from Dorian to Bob. That's also changing the state of the blockchain. Every time you change or add something to the state of the blockchain, you are modifying the contract, and you are also going to incur a transaction fee. If you just do a view method, right? So that's what this is, like get greetings. You just get something or retrieve something. You're just reading it. So you're not really adding anything to the blockchain. You're not changing the state. You're just reading it. So that does not, thankfully, cost anything. Anything in terms of a transaction fee. It depends on how you write your smart contract. But for the most part, it does not cost anything to view information from the blockchain. And then, of course, we have the reason why we're here in the first place, window.accountID. This is actually where window.accountID is defined, and simply just returns your account ID. So if I go here, see I'm logged in, right? Logged in, blockheads.testnet. Open up our inspection tool, go over to our console, and type in window.accountID, see blockheads.testnet. And yeah, so anyway, good job, guys. You guys built out the nav bar, and we even got to go through a quick little preview of what happens in the utils folder and the config folder. Let's keep moving forward. The next step is building out a front end. If you guys are interested in building out the front end, I'm going to create a repo for you guys where the front end's already built out, and you can just focus on the contract side of things. But if you guys are interested in like building out from the very beginning, which I do encourage you guys to do, so you can see how everything gets plugged in much more seamlessly, you know where everything is, then yeah, stick around and yeah, let's have some fun. Anyway, definitely encourage you guys to just build it from the start. It's pretty good for you. So enter in the switch statement, and then type in the word route. And inside of route, we're going to type in this home tag here. And then after that, I'm going to go down, create route again. If I can type route. There we go. And we're going to create a tag called polling station. And then lastly, end that tag. And lastly, we're going to create another route and call this last tag new poll. So these are the three components we're going to essentially create for our application. So it's going to scream at us, right? We're going to get a bunch of errors because we have not defined any of this. So let's create a folder in our source file called components. Inside that file, we're going to create some files. One called home.js. While I'm here, before I even move on, if you guys haven't installed this yet, I'd definitely encourage you guys to install React.js snippets. Go back. There we go. React.js code snippets by Charles Lampos. I'm sorry, I can't say it last name. I'm going to butcher it. If you guys do this, it makes your life a lot easier when creating new components, because you can just do something like rcsp, hit enter, and get this entire template built out for you, so you don't have to type all this. If you guys do not want to install it, feel free to copy this. Get rid of this props type stuff. Let me just go back here. Just get rid of this like prop type stuff. You don't really need that right now. And get rid of that and just type in the word home here as our placeholder. We're gonna continue on, add a new file called new poll.js rcsp. Get rid of this. New poll. New file. Polling station.js rcsp. Enter. Same thing as before. Get rid of that. Polling station. Get rid of this line. We're good. So we're now going to go back.
That's all, folks.
Is that Daffy Duck? Yeah, whatever. No, Porky Pig. That's what I sounded like. Porky Pig. Going back to our app.js file, we're going to establish our links. So we're going to say exact. Essentially, exact is just not home, in route. Exact. Essentially, exact saying we want to make sure that this path I'm writing right now is exactly a slash. It's not because like if you don't write this, essentially you're just going to accept anything that has a slash in it as a home link. It's not going to work. It's really interesting actually. Exact path equal to slash polling hand cramp.
Kyle! Dude, what's wrong? Carpal tunnel! Carpal tunnel! It's... Oh, Jesus, he's got it bad! Quick, we need Ben Gang! Hurry, dude! I've got it as fast as I can!
There we go. Polling station. And lastly, same thing for here, exact. Yeah. Exact path equal to new poll. So again, look at our links here. So we have, let's see what's wrong. Oh, that's right. And lastly, we have to import all of our brand new bouncing baby components. So import, I can't do that, whatever. Home from ./component/home. And then after that, import new poll from ./component/new poll. After that, import polling station from ./component/polling station. Hit save. This should be working again. So now let's see if this all works out, right? So we can hit this button here. Go over to new poll. You should see new poll up here, so we know that works. Hit this button again. Hit the home page. See the home page. And if we go up here and type in /polling station, we should see the polling station. I didn't create an explicit link to this for a reason, because we're going to build out a table that's going to actually govern this next. And that's how you set up React Router. Yay, the homepage. What we're going to do is we're going to import a few things from React Bootstrap. So we're going to import a table, table, container, and a button from React Bootstrap. Hit save. Hit the home button here. And oh, you know what? Actually, before we even go here, let's fix up this navbar thing. That's going to bug me if we're not ready. Let's go back up to app.js. Okay, app.js. Let's delete this. And what I'm actually going to do next is show you guys this really cool feature from Figma. It's actually pretty fun. So we're going to put in an image tag, so img src equal to block vote logo. Yeah, but we have not imported this yet, so don't worry about not having this just yet. So Blockvote logo. We're actually gonna head back over to Figma. Let's see, Figma. And let's see. So we're gonna go down here. Let's see if I can just zoom in real quick. Can I zoom in? There we go. So if you guys, so here's this really cool feature by Figma. So I made this logo in Figma for this application, especially for this cool project in Figma. So I made this logo in Figma, and what Figma allows you to do is actually export these files as different file types. You can export as a JPEG, as a PNG, as an SVG. I like SVGs because they're like infinitely scalable. So I'm just click on this export group 1 button. I'm going to call this Blockvote logo and hit save. And I'm simply going to take this file and toss it into our assets folder. And there it is. So don't worry guys, I'll create a download link for that logo in the description so you guys can download it that way. And now we're going to just simply import it. So let's import it right over here. So images, let's call this components. Images, okay, so what did I call that? I called it Blockvote logo. Let's copy this, so I have to retype it. Type in import Blockvote logo from /assets/ Blockvote logo .svg. Hit save. And there we go. So we have this awesome, cool looking custom Blockvote logo. It's much better than what I used to do, which is just type out the word Blockvote. Now let's continue on with the home.js page. Okay, so we have our table, our container, and our button. So what we're gonna do with all this. So we're going to type in the parentheses here, type in the word container, type in the word table. There we go. That's straight from React Bootstrap. So yeah, don't worry too much about this right now. But if you guys are curious, you can just go over to like React Bootstrap, go to components, search up table, and you can see how the structure is typically laid out if you're having a hard time following here. So you can just follow along with these table structures. It's actually pretty straightforward. So we have our each of these like table headers kind of like determines like a column, and TR's TR tag determines a row. So it's actually not too bad, pretty straightforward. You have your head and you have your body. It's pretty cool. Let's keep going. So we have T head, so T head, TR, and then TH. And then this first column will be the number sign. So I'm going to save this so you guys can see what I'm actually doing here. So you can see this like first column being literally being a number sign. We're also going to add some tags here. So add the tag striped, bordered, and hover. And that's about right. Or stripped. And hover. So that's going to be a cool way of like, you know, you can see actually these lines appear. It actually looks pretty nice now. Like not too janky. Let's add some spacing up between this first row and then this this nav bar, and then continue on with the developing the rest of the table. So type in the word style, margin 5 VH is fine. Hit save and hit enter. So cool. We can see our table starting to form. Let's keep going. So we're gonna have th list of polls, then th go to poll. Then we're going to start to develop our body. So type in t body, and this part's kind of the fun part. So let's create this temporary array here for now. We're not going to do this forever or use this forever, but you know, it's pretty good for now. essentially what we're going to have here is like a list of prompts. So we're going to say const equal to, sorry, prompt list. And come back and change this later. And the prompt will be who would win in Smash Bros. So in T-body, we're gonna put in some JavaScript. So again, this is all here JSX. So inside this curly braces, we're gonna actually enter in some JavaScript. And we'll type in prompt list dot map el index. Sorry about that. It's a message. El index. So tr key is equal to index td. Tr means row. Sorry, table row. Putting in that key tag so you don't get this like error saying like essentially every time you use a map function to kind of like iterate through an array to print stuff onto a page, it will essentially want you to identify each element you're printing out onto the page with a key. And we're going to define each of those keys as the index number. TD is like a data column. So TD and index 1. I'm sorry, index plus 1. So why am I putting this plus 1 here? So let's say, let's save this, see what happens. Oh, we have to also surround everything here with return, inside of return parentheses. So type in the word return here. Oops, let's see. It doesn't like me. Oh. Let's see what's going on. See, a return tag starts here, it ends where? I think it's supposed to be inside of here. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have one, yeah, list of 1 here, and then type in so we can actually see what we're printing out. Add a curly brace here, add the name of the array, so prompt list, and add the index. Actually, we don't need to do this. We just type in the word element. Sorry. Okay, so you can see 1 who would win Smash Bros. And I'm going to do another prompt. Let's see. Who is the better actor? Something like that. So we have this 1 and 2. If we get rid of this index plus 1, it's going to start off from 0, which I don't really think looks that good. So I want to start off from 1. So that's simply why I put the plus 1 there. We're missing 1 column. And that's going to be our button column. So we're going to use the word button from React Bootstrap, and type in go to polls. So that's actually going to be the way we're going to navigate to the polls, within or from this home page. We have to surround this with a TD tag as well. So TD. And there we go. That looks pretty sweet, right? But yeah, in terms of the front end, that's it. That is our homepage. So good job, guys. Next on the list is the, kind of the meat of the application, the polling station. I think it'd be a lot of fun to build out. So let's go ahead and design our polling station. So head over to the pollingstation.js file. And we're going to import a few things to start off. So we're going to import a container, a row, column, and a button from React Bootstrap. Hit save. Our entire like return statement is going to be filled with first parentheses, and then after that, container. Inside this container, we're going to essentially split this up into one giant row with 3 columns, right? So I have these little lines, these little guidelines here, as you can see, kind of like detailing what each column is filled with. So it's going to be filled with the Pikachu picture, the voting button, and then the result. The second column is going to be filled with this prompt. This is not going to be here. Don't worry about that. And then the third column is going to be filled with the second candidate, vote button, and then their vote count. So we're going to say row, column, and then essentially each column will be filled with its own, with its own container. Yeah. So container, and that. Okay. Before we even move on, so this is gonna be a very common thing we're gonna do. I'm gonna type in class name is equal to justify content center, and then d dash flex. So that's simply a way to justify the contents of our application. Of the column and rows. I'm gonna type in your URL, type in polling station, so we can get on this page and see what's actually going on. Underneath container, you're gonna add a row. I'm gonna start off with some styling to the row. So style is equal to margin top 5VH with the background color of hashtag C4, in a single quote, C4, pick a type of 4, C4, C4. And it's going to scream at me because I forgot to put the hashtag in front of it. So hexadecimal. And why is this screaming at me? Oh, closing tag for the row. Then within this row, so bear with me, we're going to create div. That div will have a style tag to it. So add some style, some flair to it. And that style tag will have a display of flex. I'm just getting this CSS out of the way. Not going to focus too much on this, but just kind of follow along. Justify content. Add the word center here. Add some padding. 3 VW. Hit save. And then inside of this div, we're going to add in our image tag. So this is where Pikachu is actually going to display. Add some styling out of the way to get this out of the way. So we're going to make these images all uniform on this page. So we have nothing that looks too out of control. This may not be the best way of doing this, but for now, it is the way I want to do it for this example. Add a width of 20 VW. 20 VW. So we're using this inline styling. That's what it's called for React. So inline styling, and close the image tag. And then the source for this image will be a state variable. So source is equal to single quotes or single curly braces candidate 1 URL. It's going to scream at me again because I don't have that defined, but that's okay. Let's go up and actually define that right now. So from React, we're going to import the use state function. Call const, what was it called? Candidate1 URL, and then change candidate1, and it said that equal to use state. Okay, so if you guys have never seen this before, it's not too hard. It's not too scary. We're gonna find some filler image and put in there for now. Stretch. There we go. So what's happening here is that this is a state variable. This is a function. It's a function That's going to this is all called React hooks, by the way. So if you guys get confused with this, just Google React hooks. So this second parameter is like a function that's literally its purpose is to change the value that resides in this candidate1 state variable. Okay, so this is the variable. This is the function that changes the value within this variable. This useState function is going to be the default value for this. So default value, I'm just going to look up. Let's look up like, I don't know, a loading screen for now. Just doing something really quick. And we can just grab something like this. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Copy image. Actually, you know what? I kind of want to make my own, but okay, whatever. Open image, new tab. That's what I'm looking for. So you can see this thing, opening a new tab. I may make my own and like link it in the description for you guys and change that later on in this video, but for now, this is totally fine. And just set that as your default value. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna be lazy. I'm just gonna do this real quick. So I'm gonna add like 3 circles, make them black. There we go. So copy, paste, paste. Oops. Perfect. Group, selection. Yeah, you guys don't have to do this. I'm gonna give you guys this this image. SVG, loading, circles, hit save. Toss this over here to assets. Go back to our polling station. Hit Control Z to undo that. And then if you guys want to add something for yourself, that's like totally cool too. I'm going to import loading circles from /asset/loading circles.svg, and then just toss that in here. So loading circles. Yeah, that looks fine. Cool. So let's see if we can actually center that, right? So let's see, display dot flex justify content and center. Let's center it. Oh, maybe no. That should have worked. Oh, you know what? Oh, okay. No, actually, it's fine. No, I forgot. The entire row is what has that background. So this is actually okay. So we don't even need this. Ignore that step. Anyway, sorry about that quick detour. Let's keep going. Okay, so now bear with me for a minute. We're actually going to set up our logic. For well, first we actually need the button, right? So the voting button. Okay, so let me find the button here. Okay. So we have this container, we have a few rows here. Underneath our image is going to be our button. A row. And actually make 2 rows here. So this is going to be kind of cool. Another row here. Inside this first row, that's going to be where the actual results are going to be for the vote. But we're going to set that to display as a conditional statement. So I'm going to put 3 here for now. And around this 3, I'm actually going to create a div. Yeah, okay, so then around this 3 is a div. Inside this div, we're going to add some styling right away. So style is equal to display flex justify content center font size 8VW in single braces 8VW. Padding 10px. Background color. I think it's hashtag C4. Yes. So hashtag C4. Okay. Yeah, so let's keep going. So we're gonna clean that up in a quick minute. Actually, yeah, right now let's just do this real quick. So in this row, we're also gonna add some styling. So style is equal to margin top 5VH. And then class name, oops, not inside these curly braces. So even before that, so class name is equal to justify dash content dash center and d dash flex. I need to spell content, so content. There we go. So cool, yeah. So we have our very first score, and we're gonna add some conditional code here to actually determine when this gets shown or not, right? So, because we don't want this information being shown before the user makes their vote. So what we're gonna do is we're going to take this entire row, and we're going to add some curly braces around it. And before the curly braces, I'm going to type this thing called show results. We haven't created that variable yet, but we will in a minute. Then at the end of this conditional statement, we're just going to type in the word null. So up by our state variables, we're going to add a new line. I'm going to make this a little smaller so you guys can see more. Const. Let's actually squish that. Okay. Const show results, change results, results display equal to use state. We're gonna set that equal to true for now. Hit save. And if this is false, watch what happens. It just goes away, right? So hit true, it comes back. So we're gonna keep that there for now. And under row, we only have one more thing to add here. So we're almost done with this section. This part's kind of the weird bulky part of the front end. So in a row, we're gonna create this. We're gonna create a button class. Inside the button, we're gonna say vote. Hit save. We see the vote here. Of course, we're dealing with React Bootstrap, so we want to add the tag class name is equal to justify content dash center d dash flex. Centered there as well. It's kind of cool, right? So let's keep it up. Let's keep it going. So by this button, we got some functionality to add a little bit later. Okay, so don't worry about that right now. So now next step is to add another column. Let's see. Add another column. So column. Same thing. So class name is equal to, you guessed it, literally this. So it's probably gonna be one of our most used statements here. Probably find a way to make that even a little easier to write. So I'm going to keep typing out the entire thing. Inside here, we're going to create a div. So div. Add some styling. So style is equal to display flex justify content Wow, cannot see any of that. Content. What is going on? Okay. Center. Background color. It's going to be hashtag C4. Dang it. Hashtag C4. Hands cramping. Height is going to be 20 VH. Align items. Center. Padding. It's going to be 2 VW. Text align center. And this is going to be where the actual like message prompt is going to be. So we're going to say who would win in Smash? Right. Let's see. Did I have anything wrong here? Center C4 20. Center 2 VW. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh, because I am missing something. Yeah, okay. So here, also add align items center. And there we go. So we have our prompt moved and shifted towards the center. So display should reflect, justify content, align items. Oh, okay, because I misspelled the word align. Cool. Okay, so we have our prompt, we have our image, we have our results button, and we also have like, we also have our physical button down here. And actually to that button, yeah, to that button I want to add a quick margin to kind of give it some spacing. So I'm going to do a quick style is equal to margin top 5 VH, just to add some extra spacing there. Okay, so next part is a little bit easier. So we literally just take everything we have here for his first column. So let's copy all of this. And paste it under here. We have to change a few little things here. So I'm going to type in the number 1. So we can see we have to add candidate 2 here, right? So you have to make one for candidate 1 and make another one for candidate 2. Hit save. Let's keep going. Okay. Yes. So essentially, where it says, I feel like I'm missing a candidate 2. Yeah, right here, where it says source is equal to candidate 2 1 URL. We're gonna add candidate 2 URL here. Yeah. So hopefully this is all looking fairly familiar. If I expand this out a little more, we can see these pages are reactive thanks to React Bootstrap. Yeah. I mean, essentially, yeah, that's it. So that is the front end for our polling booth component. Yeah, so I know there's a lot, so keep it up, keep going, push through it. You guys are doing great. We're gonna so next step, we're gonna create the new poll form, and then after that, we get to actually work with some cool smart contract stuff. Let's get over and create the polling booth. So let's head over to new poll. Then go into new poll.js, and we're gonna import some fun stuff from React Bootstrap. So there we go. So import container form button. That's all we need from React Bootstrap. Hit save. Go here. Into your return statement, it's around everything inside of a container. Oh, first parentheses, and then container. Hit save again. Hit enter. Type in the word form, hit save. We'll go kind of fast here, so I apologize. So style is equal to, get the styling out of the way, some margin, top tab, some styling between the nav bar and the container. So that'd be 10px. And then after that, okay, so after that, we're gonna go into our form, type in form.group, add a class name, so class name is equal to mb-3. That's a React Bootstrap class for spacing, or class, yeah, class for spacing, CSS class for spacing. Don't need that, okay. Inside this group, we're gonna add a label, so form.label candidate1, oh gosh, candidate, so I'm gonna adjust my computer a bit, there we go. Candidate1 name, hit save. See that name preview right there, which is kind of cool. Sorry, you can ignore this. My styling sheet, my styling's kind of weird with my editor. After that, type in form.control and add a placeholder tag inside the first opening tag. So type in placeholder here. Enter candidate name, hit save. And there we go. We have our first input field. With every input field, it comes with a ref, right? So we're gonna wanna reference what's inside that field. So let's just get that out of the way right now. So ref, first curly brace, candidate name 1. Candidate name 1, cool. Hit save. It's gonna scream at me saying this does not exist. So what we wanna do is actually go over to React, type in curly brace, type in use ref, hit enter, oh, doop. That's good. Okay, save. That's okay. Oh, add a comma between the React and this thing. So now inside of here, we're gonna type in const candidate name 1 is equal to use ref parentheses, and that's it. See, not so bad, right? So let's keep going. Form.group, form group, class name is equal to mb-3, form.label is going to be candidate1 image URL, hit save. Go one line below that, type in form.control. And of course you can see what all this form.control, form label stuff is on the React Bootstrap website. So type in, oh, my other light's not on. Type in ref equal to candidate name 1 URL, and then, sorry, put that in curly braces. And add a placeholder equal to enter image URL, and make these capitalized. Hit save. You're gonna get an error again. It's totally fine because we have to add a reference here. So 2 lines, const equal to that equal to use ref parentheses. You can just duplicate this first line down and add it and switch this over to a 2 because we need that anyway. Duplicate this line as well and switch this over to a 2. So candidate name 2 URL, candidate name 1 URL, candidate name 1, candidate name 2. Hit save. The next part is fairly easy. So we're just going to copy all of this and simply go 2 lines below and hit paste. Change this 1 to a 2. Change this 1 to a 2. Change this 1 to a 2. And change this 1 to a 2. So I have everything filled out for our second candidate. Last form group would be for our prompt. So we're going to type in the word form dot group class name is equal to MB-3 form dot label is prompt form dot control ref is equal to prompt ref the placeholder of add prompt. Conclude that, hit save. We're gonna get an error because we haven't created this prompt ref yet. So it's gonna go down here, add 2 lines, hit const, paste that in, set the equal to use ref, empty parentheses. And there we go. We only have one more thing, guys. One more thing for this front end, and then literally our front end is essentially done after this. So button, I'm still forgetting something, which I probably am. Let's see. Submit, button, submit, and variant is equal to primary. And then that is essentially our form. Yeah, I mean, great job, guys. I know this was a lot of information, a lot of stuff. So let's just like circle back and navigate through everything. So we have our homepage, which is a list of polls here. So we can see who would win in a Smash Bros, who's the best actor. We haven't set this link yet, but I will in a minute. But we can go to our polling station by typing in polling station. We can see our polls here. So we have picture 1, picture 2, the prompt, the results, and the vote. We should actually set these results to false. We don't want that. So by default, we do not want that to be seen. So we're going to set that to false. And then after that, we can go over to our new poll button and get our entire form here. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, great job, guys. And it's all responsive. You can see that like this all like resizes pretty nicely. You can log in, we can log out. So next up is the fun part where we are actually creating the smart contract. So this is the cool part, guys. So sit tight. And I'll also upload this part to GitHub. So users that don't want to go through the process of making the front end, this is where you guys are going to appear and start working on the contract side of things. So yeah, fun stuff. For those of you who are jumping to the contract side of things, head on over to my GitHub page and go to the Blockvote tutorial 2 repo and select the branch front end complete to essentially start from the front end and start working on the contract and start seeing how that side of things is implemented into the project. So with that, first I'm going to check out the main branch again. So hit checkout main. With that, let's just keep going. Okay, so the contract code, contract stuff. This is the fun stuff. So head on over to contract assembly and then go to index.ts. And I'm gonna make this screen super small and go over everything that's here. So yeah, this all may look scary. Definitely read through all these comments if you can, just to get a sense of what's going on with the default code. Like I said, read through everything, but essentially I'm just gonna tell you guys what's going on. So we have 2 sections of code defined here. So we have our view methods, so view methods right here, and our change methods. So earlier I said change methods. So changes state of blockchain costs a transaction fee to do so. For view methods, this does not change state of the blockchain. We guys to have these notes for review. And then does not incur a fee, pulls and reads information from blockchain. Sorry about that. Okay. Adds adds or modifies information to blockchain. Let's look at these default functions before we get rid of them. So get greeting, as it stands, it's getting a greeting from the blockchain. So you just have raw storage.get, which is a little way to interact with the on-chain simple contracts. In other words, it's just reading this value, this message that the user has inputted into the blockchain. Let's start with set greeting, right? So we have our message here, that the user, which is being defined with variable account ID or context.sender, is setting to. So it's like a key value pair for storage here. So key being the user's name and then message being the value. And then that's setting the value for the message, and then this is simply retrieving that value. So I'm going to show you guys the essential pattern I do for all my get and set methods. So let's delete these. Let's delete this thing, I need that, and let's delete all these comments up here. Let's hit save. And then I'm also going to show you guys essentially the workflow that's involved with setting up these things. And actually, you know what, I'm going to bring back a few of those items here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we can see that this function structure essentially goes like this. We have export, that makes the function public to the contract. Export function get greeting, right? Get greeting. This is all written in assembly script, which is a lot like TypeScript. If you guys do not know assembly script, I'll put a link in the description to a crash course video for you. But anyway, in assembly script, you have to define the variable types for each of your variables. So we have account, in which we're expecting a string to be implemented here. We're expecting this function, that's what colon mark is saying, essentially says we're expecting this function to return either a string or a null value. String or null value. So the function get greeting will accept a string a string and put it in the variable account ID, do stuff with it. So in other words, send that to the blockchain as the key to read, and then it'll spit out, this function is going to return a string or null value. So it's going to return either something or nothing, right? For the set greeting, we're accepting a string, storing in the variable message, returning nothing. That's what void is, so returning nothing. Where we're defining this variable as the context.sender, which is the user itself. So it's going to be the person that's currently logged in. This logging log is kind of like console.log. So it's essentially printing these messages out to the console. And then it's setting the key account ID, which is the user's name, with the value of this message, which is a string. After you create these functions, get greeting and set greeting, we're going to go down to utils.js. And you can see that get greeting and set greeting are set in this view methods and change methods array, accordingly. So if you're defining a new view method, you put it in this view methods array. If you're defining a new change method, you put it in this change methods array. It's pretty straightforward. And that's essentially the flow. After every single change, you make to your smart contract in the index.ts file. You want to recompile that smart contract so you can get a new WASM script out of it. So you can find your WASM script here in the build/debug folder. So to build it, just type in yarn build. You can go over to your package.json down here. See what that build script does. So you can see npm run build contract, npm run build web. So every time you make a change to your index.ts value, to run yarn build to recompile the smart contract, and then after that you can test it out in your front-end application. Anyway, so that was a lot of stuff. I'm going to go back to where we were. So this is all we have in our file right now. So just this import statement and then all this stuff here. Once this is done building, you can get this message here. So built in 16.25 seconds, saying everything worked out, and it's done. It'll let you know if there's any compilation errors in your index.ts file as well. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to write out our entire contract in one single go. Be pretty fun. So up here, we're going to import this thing called a persistent map. So persistent map. Let's actually get rid of storage and context. We don't actually need those. So I'm going to hit save. So a persistent map is a part of the Near SDK AS library. It's essentially a storage wrapper that makes your data structure act like a map. So a map in any other language, which is a key value pair. Python's a key value pair, and in like I forgot what other language it is. In JavaScript, it's something like an object, but you essentially have a key value pair. It's pretty cool. I'll show you guys all the cool things you can do with it. So const candidate URL is equal to new persistent map string candidate URL. So what's happening here with the persistent map is we're saying that we're defining the variable to a new instance of a persistent map in which the key is a string and the value is going to be also a string. This prefix here is simply just to prevent data collisions on the blockchain. So that's all this is for. I'll just give it a unique name inside these parentheses. Our next persistent map will be const candidate pair. So this will be a way for us to store the pair of candidates for every single polling session. Probably make more sense when you actually see it. So the key will be a string, the value will be a string array, and I'm going to give the prefix name candidate pair. Let's get rid of that second D here. Okay. Const prompt array is equal to new persistent map string bracket. Okay, and then array of prompts. So again, this string and bracket notation just means it's going to be an array of strings. So it'll be like, this would be like, so this is like an array of numbers, right? So this is going to be like a number array, right? Or it's going to also be like an I32 array. An array of strings would be like Dorian was here. And this is a string array. So hopefully that data type makes sense. Again, I'll include a crash course link in the description for you guys, so you guys can have some basis to start off if you're not used to assembly script or TypeScript. Next persistent map would be a vote array. So the place to actually store our votes. So vote array is equal to new persistent map. Persistent map string I32 array stores votes. So next step after that is the user participation. So this one is simply just to make sure that, or to check if the user has participated in a certain poll, so they can no longer participate in that poll afterwards, because we don't want a user submitting like 30 votes if they've already voted. So const user participation is equal to new persistent map string array user participation record. So these are our entire set of persistent maps that we're going to be relying on. And I misspelled candidate pair, so candidate pair. Okay, there we go. I have this add-on that checks spelling. It's actually really cool. So let's go down to our change methods. So I'm going to show you the flow for change methods. They're kind of fun. So let's start with our URL. So export function add URL. So name is a string. URL will also be a string. We're going to be returning void, so this function is going to be returning nothing. Candidate URL. There we go. Dot set. So that's set method. We'll set a new key value pair in this persistent map. So name, comma URL, and logging log. So that's going to be our way of notifying the developer that a URL, so added URL, was added. So URL, added URL for name. Okay. So if we run, so I'm going to show you guys what happens if we don't do it, if we don't complete the flow. So I'm going to type in yarn build to build off this contract because we made a change to index.ts. So we need to rebuild it. Let's keep it going. Okay, it's done. Type in yarn to start. Let's build it. Let's build it. Let's really, really build it. There we go. You can open up your terminal and watch this. If I type in window dot contract dot add URL, we get this undefined notice, right? Because the function doesn't exist. Because we have not completed our flow. So we're going to take this name, add URL, go down to utils.js, sorry. We're adding something to the blockchain. So we are changing the state of the blockchain. So add URL, and hit save. Now we can do await window.contract. So we have to do await because the await keyword is important. So we have to do await because await, all your contract calls, all your function calls, they are asynchronous. So you have to talk to the RPC and then get some response, right? So that takes some asynchronous time. So wait window.contract add URL. Then I forgot what the parameters were already. Oh, name and URL. To actually like call this function, you're gonna type in the word name. You're gonna create an object instance inside of your arguments section of your function. So make an object instance here as your parameter. Type in name, then Dorian, comma URL, colon test, and object instance and function parentheses. Hit enter. You get this cool receipt from the blockchain, and you get this message from our contract saying added URL for Dorian, and that's how you know it worked. So yeah, great job, guys. That's the very first change method. So let's keep this going. We also want a way to actually read that function, right? So let's see. So we're going to call this function get URL. So export function get URL, URL, name, string, and it's going to return a string. And honestly, here's my flow for most view methods. View methods. First, I have to check if the name is even in the persistent map registry, right? So I'm going to type in contains. It's kind of a cool method that comes with the persistent map. So you can even see if a key exists within that persistent map. That key is our name. I'm going to hit colon there. So curly braces there. So if the candidate name does exist, then I'm just going to return candidate URL dot get sum and then name, right? Returning a string. So it's kind of cool is that it's looking. Okay, so it's kind of cool that this function's looking for a string, right? It's saying like, is this a string? Are you returning a string? If you are, awesome. If not, you got to fix something. Else, return nothing, right? So now what's kind of cool is like if I were to change this to I32, I'll get an error here, right? Because it's returning a string. It's not returning an I32 variable. So let's change that back. If I were to say I32 here, right? We get that same error letting us know that this is returning a string, not I32. So it checks the types for it, which is kind of cool. So let's keep going. So I'm sure you can, so I rebuilt this and we could test this out in a minute. Obviously, if we don't return anything, type in logging log can't find that user. So let's keep going. So we have a little bit of quite a bit of functions to get through. So let's add all of our change methods. So next step will be export function add candidate pair. And you guys know the flow now. So that's essentially the flow of adding this of adding like functions, adding view and change methods to your smart contract. So these last two we're just going to fly through. So prompt string name one. What's happening here? Oh. Name one is a string. Name two is a string. We're going to essentially we're going to store these candidate pairs underneath the key of a prompt. So our prompt is going to be a key for a lot of these. So that's going to return void, and then candidate pair dot set under prompt name one, name two. So that's our array of strings, right? We have a candidate pair up here, array of strings, totally cool. Next step will be adding our votes, right? A place to actually store our votes. Export function, add vote, prompt, string, index, I32, void. So if the vote array that contains the prompt, then we're going to create a temporary array, so temp array equal to vote array. So if this value already exists, we're simply just going to get the current values, which should be an array of two numbers. And then I'm going to say let temp val retrieve one of those values. So array temp val is equal to temp array, retrieve that from the index, and then add one to that value. So new val is equal to temp val plus one, and then we're going to replace that the index with that new value. So we're going to say temp array index is equal to new val, right? So essentially the vote is going to look something like this. It's going to look like, let's see, so let's just say Pikachu has 3 and Kirby has 5, right? Kirby gets one more vote, I add 1 to 5, so I get 6. So that's essentially what's happening here. Oh yeah, and then after that we have to actually save that to the blockchain. So vote array.set prompt dot new array. That's it. Or no, temp array, sorry. Temp array. There we go. Else let new array equal to 0, comma 0. So we're creating a new array in which both users have no votes, right? If the prompt does not exist, then we're creating a new instance of this prompt, right? Where both users start off with 0. New array index is equal to 1, right? So whoever this vote is for gets the first vote. Vote array dot set prompt dot new array. Hit save, keep going. So next up is to record the user so we can see if the user has participated in the voting process. So export function new record user prompt string user string returning a void. So most change methods return void. If user participation does not contain or does contain the prompt, then we're going to let a temporary array, so temp array, equal to or store the user's name, right? Or sorry, temporary array restore like all the users that participated in this vote. So this user array is going to essentially list out each and every user that has ever voted in this poll. So get some prompt temp array dot push user. So we're adding a new user to that existing list of users. User participation dot set prompt temp array. So now we're setting that new updated array to the blockchain after we added the latest user. Else, if this is the very first user, we are just going to set that first user to the prompt by instantiating a new array. And that's record user. And that's all of our change methods actually. So now let's go and create some view methods. So view methods, fun stuff. That's where we actually get all the information. So this part's a little bit, for most part, simpler. For most part. So export function did participate. Did any, let's see, participate. So did the user in question, did the user that's currently logged in, participate in the vote? That's what we're asking here. So prompt string user string turn a boolean. If user participation dot contains prompt, let get array equal to user participation dot get some prompt. So we're storing the temporary, we're storing we're storing the list of all the users into our temporary array called getArray. Return getArray dot includes user. Does this array even include user? Did this user make its way into a list, meaning like did he ever vote before? Else, else logging log prompt not found. The prompt is probably not going to be found, right? That's the only other situation. So then we still have to return something. So you're going to return false. Next up, export function get all prompts. Going to get the entire list of every prompt that was ever created. All the prompts were stored in a string array. So we're going to check if the prompt array that contains the key that we're setting by default, which is going to be all arrays. I think I may be missing a change function, but let's just see. Return prompt array get some all arrays. If no prompt has ever been created in the history of this application, we're going to just return the message logging log, no prompts found, right? And we're going to return an empty array because TypeScript still wants something. Next up, do we have get URL? We do have get URL. Next up is get votes. So export function get votes prompt string. We're returning an I32 array, right? Remember the whole like Pikachu gets 3 votes thing, 3 votes, and Kirby gets 5, right? So we're getting this array here, array of 2. So if votes array dot contains the prompt, oh my god, prompt pot, there we go, prompt, yeah, return vote array dot get some prompt, right? We're just getting all the votes. Otherwise, return 0, 0 with a message saying logging log prompts prompt not found for this vote. I think that's everything. So get all prompts, set new prompt. I set a new prompt. Oh yeah, I have to add a prompt array. I think I missed one. Yes, we did miss one. Okay. Last function, guys. Export function add to prompt array prompt string void logging log added to prompt array if prompt array dot contains, oh, I keep misspelling prompt. That's prom pot. Prom? It's cool. Let's get a prom. Contains all arrays, right? So making sure that variable is the same. Yeah, all arrays, so cool. Let temp array equal to prompt array dot get some all arrays. Temp array dot push the latest prompt. So this is just, all this fanciness is just to create a list of prompts. And we're just having one fixed key for it. That's why we have this one fixed key of all arrays. So it's not a dynamic key, right? There we go. So otherwise, we're adding our first key, adding our very first prompt. If there are no other prompts that ever exist, we're adding our first one. So prompt, oh no, prompt array dot set all arrays prompt. Hit save. So now, after all of that, this is our entire smart contract. After all of that, you have to actually add each of these individual names to the utils.js file. So we're going to start off with all the view methods. If you hit on Mac, it's Alt double click to select multiple lines or select multiple strings. And then, sorry, and then head over to utils.js and just place them all into your view methods. And then add strings around them, add a comma, surround it with a string, add a comma, add some strings. And what's happened? What's happened here? Oh, add a comma up here as well. Now we're going to add all of our change methods. So Again, that's for me. It's I'm sorry. I think for Mac, did I say Alt? I meant Option. I have two different keyboards here, so it's kind of confusing. So Option double click is how I can select multiple things. Add a comma here. Paste all of these in. Surround all of these with quotes. And then add a comma, add a comma, add a comma, add a comma, and hit save. We're still not done, right? Because if we oops, add this twice. So if I define these without rebuilding the contract, let's see what happens. We get window dot contract dot, I don't know, add vote. Right? It's going to say, it's going to wait. It's going to check the blockchain and to say contract methods not found because we have not rebuilt the contract. It's going to rebuild contract. There we go. Hit yarn start. So now we can do, I don't know. I think we're missing one. Oh. Yeah, we're missing get URL. Add get URL. It's definitely better to like add these functions as you're building them out, so you don't forget anything. But it's okay. So let's do await window dot contract dot contract dot get URL, and then name. So name Dorian. And there we go. Yeah, so I added test earlier. So it all comes back full circle. So great job, guys. You guys just built out your very first smart contract. Or maybe you're doing this again. Who knows? You guys are champions. I know the smart contract part was long, but guys, we're almost done. All that's left is to implement all these functions into our actual application. So let's start with the form. The form is going to be a little bit, going to be kind of bulky, but that's okay. So let me just get my notes up. So new poll. So we're going to navigate over to newpoll.js and start at the very, very top. Okay. So we have all these like use refs, right? All these like references pointing to different sections of our form. That's going to be our means of actually getting the information that's written within each form. So to kind of kick things off, we're going to create a function that collects all this information and sends it off to the blockchain. So I'm going to say, let's call this function const send to blockchain. It's a bit on those, but you know, it works. Async. Okay, so this has to be an asynchronous function because, like I said, all smart contracts are what? All smart contract. Wow, I cannot say that word. All smart contract function calls are what? They're asynchronous. So that means that we have to essentially wait for the response to return to each value each time we make a contract call. So I'm going to type in await, then window.contract dot add URL, and then I'm going to pass in the name of first an object instance. So then the first property will be the name. The name will be candidate name one dot current value. Oops, dot current. Wow, I am butchering this. Okay, the name will be candidate name1 dot current dot value. So that's gonna pull whatever I type in here. So if I type in Dorian, I should get the value Dorian. So here we go. And then the URL itself. So URL candidate. Let's copy this. Put this here. Okay. Candidate name1 URL dot current dot value. And then that's essentially it here. Well, not for the entire function, but for this part of it, right? So we have to make this whole thing again. So we're just going to duplicate this line. Let's hit Alt-D. There we go. And switch these numbers from 1 to 2. So 2. There we go. I think I misspelled async. There we go. Look at all that. Things aren't screaming anymore. 2. And I think I may have deleted a parentheses. So there we go. I swear I know what's going on sometimes. Okay, so next line would be to add the candidate pair. So await dot contract dot add candidate pair. So we're going to need the prompt, which is going to come from prompt ref. Prompt ref dot current dot value, comma, and then name1 and name2, which is just going to come from these. So I'm going to copy this value here, create the name1 property, paste that in, and then grab, and then just type in name2, paste that in, and then switch this first one from 2 to 1. This first name, this first candidate name, current value from name1 to, from name2 to name1. This should be await window.contract.add candidate pair. So I'm going to save all of this. And then we have one more function to go. We're almost done here. Await window.contract.add to, I forgot what this one's called. I think it's add to prompt array. So add to prompt array, yeah. So copy this. We have one parameter here, so it's just the prompt. So paste that in, call prompt. And that's it. Well, that's not it. I keep saying that's it. I have to stop saying that. We still have to actually make this, this function work. It's to actually call this function. So let's go down to our button and say on click, and just call add to blockchain, or send to blockchain. Send to blockchain. There we go. Save everything here. We can test this out. So I'm going to refresh this page. I think it disconnected. I'm going to pull this window over here, open up the inspection tool, and then let's see what we have here. So let's just say, I don't know, enter candidate name, Dorian, it's our URL, test1, candidate name 2, Bob, then test 2, who is the better Bob? I'm gonna hit submit. Okay, so add URL is not a function. Is it not? It's not. I misspelled it. Okay. It should be lowercase r and l. Okay. One more time. Dorian, test 1, Bob, test 2. Who is the better Babby? There we go. Hit submit. Okay, so added URL for Dorian, added URL for Bob. it looks like parameter prompt with type string is required but missing. So we know the URLs are working. So perhaps. Oh, yeah, okay. Forgot to actually complete this line. So at the add to prompt array, type in prompt, and then essentially just this line here, right? So go snag this and paste this right here. Hit save. Going to do one more test. Hopefully it should all work. So Dorian, test 1, Pikachu, test 2, who will catch who? Or who will be the trainer, right? Well, probably Pikachu has a better chance of you know, catching me. I'm gonna hit submit. Added URL for Dorian, added URL for Pikachu. Added to prompt array. So cool. Okay, awesome. No, that's good. Yeah, and that's essentially it for our form. Okay, so this part's gonna be a little bit interesting. I probably said that before every section. But we have to so we have to find a way to pass in information to the polling page before we can actually go and, you know, cast our vote. So right now we have these like buttons and they're kind of useless, right? Like they don't really do anything. Let's add functionality to that. So we're actually gonna head over to our app.js page and do something kind of fancy. So fancy is always fun. So we are going to create a function called change candidates function. It's going to be an asynchronous function. So async, it'll accept a prompt. We're going to say name pair. So we're going to retrieve the name pair is equal to await window dot contract dot get candidate pair. So what I'm going to essentially do, oh, sorry. Wow, why does it keep doing that? Candidate pair. So what I want to do is like pass in, use the prompt to retrieve the name pair for the polls that that the user is interested in. Pass the names into the actual, like, you know, into the polling what's it called, polling station.js file. So then that I can use those to query the blockchain to get the URLs, to populate the images, to retrieve the vote counts, to add votes to their, you know, respective names. This function is fairly important for passing in all that information. I'm going to show you guys how we're going to accomplish that. So we're going to retrieve the candidate pair using the prompt key. So that the prompts themselves are the keys. So prompt.prompt. And then after that, we're going to save all the information we retrieve from that. So we're going to say, we're going to set the local storage. So local storage, set item, candidate 1, that's going to be fixed value in your local storage. Name pair. We're going to save the first name to the key candidate 1 in local storage. And then copy that down. So I have to retype it. I just replace this to a 2. And replace the 0 to a 1. So this is going to get Pikachu, this one will get Kirby, and save them to local storage. After that, we're going to do local storage dot set item prompt and save the prompt name as well. So prompt. Then after that, we need to actually redirect ourselves to the polling page, right? So we're going to call window.location dot replace parentheses window.location dot href plus polling station. So this is going to redirect us to the polling station section of our application. Oh my god. Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh my god. So my sneezes sound like screams. Bloody screams. Oh my god. So we're going to take this function name and pass it into our home component under the name change candidates is equal to this. So making reference to the function. So we're going to save all of that. And we're going to go back into our home page, our home.js button. And we are going to attach that as an on-click to these buttons here. So we're going to call props dot, I forgot the name of the function, change can, did it all populate? No, dates. Yeah. And then we're going to, what's our argument? So arguments is a prompt, that's right. So which means you have to pass in the element. And I got this L from this map function here. That L contains the name of the prompt. So if I click this button, it should set the element to, oh, who won in Smash. In fact, we can even just test if this works. So let's go back to our app.js file and call ooh. Okay, it didn't like the way I typed on click, I think. Oh, make sure you add a callback function here, or else if you wrote the way I wrote it, this function will just automatically call as soon as the component loads. So put a callback function on this on click inside of the home.js file, and that will get rid of that error. So we're going to add a console.log, add prompt here, make sure it gets called. So we're going to say, yeah, who will win in Smash, right? Who will win in Smash, and get candidate pair is not a function. Is it not? I might have also missed that. Add candidate pair. Oh, we just never made it. Whoa. We were so close. I thought we had all these written out. Okay. That's okay. So export function, get candidate pair. Yeah. Prompt string, return a string array. And yeah, so if what's that thing called? Okay, if candidate pair dot contains prompt, then we will get a temporary array. Actually, we're just going to return return candidate pair dot get some prompt. Else logging log prompt not found, return empty array. Hit save, copy this name, go down to utils.js, and it's a view method. Kill the server, do yarn build, yarn start. Almost done, gang. We're almost done. Okay, open up our inspection tool. Who will win Smash? Go to poll. Oh no! It's saying I'm missing a parameter somewhere. Let's go to home. Go to app.js. Prompt. Ah, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so now we're going to see if we're going to go to application, go to local storage, and you should see candidate 2 Kirby, candidate 1 Pikachu, prompt who will win in Smash. Yeah, so we can see candidate 1 Kirby, candidate 2 Pikachu, and then again prompt who will win in Smash. But yeah, I mean that's super awesome. Yeah, we have our local storage working, so that's good. So now is the fun part. So we go to let's see, polling station. Let's create a use effect. Use effect, and this function. Oh wow, sorry. Do not want all that help from VS Code right now. So create the callback function, create the empty array. We're going to create a function inside of it called const get info. So it's equal to an async function. And this is going to do a bunch of stuff for us. So we're going to first create a variable called vote count. So let vote count equal to await window.contract.get votes. So this is going to retrieve and store all the current votes. So prompt is going to be equal to await local storage. Actually, we don't need to wait for that. So we're just going to do local storage dot get item prompt. So we're going to retrieve the prompt and use a prompt as a key to get our vote count. Vote count will return an array. We're going to use that array to populate the number of votes for each contender. What's next? Next up is actually updating the vote count. So let's see. We have to create more state variables, right? So we're going to create a state variable for the votes. Let's see. Sorry, give me a second here. Look at my notes here. Short results. There we go. So we're going to have const candidate 1 votes change vote 1 view state. We're just going to put in some dashes here for now. Some dashes. So dashes will be our placeholder for that. And we're going to switch this value to number 2. This value number 2. So if the votes aren't loaded yet, we're just going to display some dashes. We're going to call change vote 1. And under vote count, we're going to say change vote 1, parentheses, vote count 0. So we're getting the first indexed value of vote count because remember that window.contract.getVotes returns an array of 2 elements. First one is the count for the first contender, and the second one is the count for the second contender. After that, so vote count stuff. Okay. Next up, we have image stuff. So I'm going to call the change candidate URL function. Well, first I'm going to save this copy. So I'm going to paste it here. So inside of this change function, we're going to call await window.contract.getURL. Make an object instance where the instance will contain a name, and name will be just be local storage dot get item, and our key is candidate1. As you can expect, we're going to take all of this and duplicate it and switch all these 1s to 2s. So 1 to 2 and 1 to 2. And that's our image, and those are images. Then after that, change participation. So we need to record if the user participated or not, right? We're gonna have to like check for that and update these functions to see if that's true. So change results display, for example, could be our function. So change results display. I'm gonna say did user, well, so did user vote, right? So let's see, we're gonna create a new variable called, first we're gonna make a section called vote checking stuff. So create a variable called did user vote, set that to await, window.contract dot did participate. Now we're writing a lot of stuff here, so I'm assuming we're going to get some sort of error. That's okay. Prompt, so local storage dot get item prompt, add a comma, and then user, which is just going to be the window dot account ID. Then after that, we simply chuck that variable into here. Now we're going to save all of this, and before even save, we have to call this function still, right? So call get info inside of useEffect. So this should light up. There we go. So save, see what's screaming at me. What's screaming at me? I don't know where my return statement went. Wow, that's weird. Where'd it go? Oh, wow. Yeah, I put this entire function inside of the return statement. Do not do that. Move that above the return statement. Hit save. Let's see what's screaming at me now. Use effect is not a function because I forgot to import it. Use effect, hit save. Oh wow, that actually worked. I mean, of course it worked. What are you saying? Ha! So there we go. I mean, we have Pikachu, we have Kirby appearing. You know, all this stuff is to see like what happens when you actually vote, right? So actually, in making these vote buttons actually work. So these vote buttons do nothing. They're just for show. So let's add some functionality to our vote buttons. So you have to create this function, create another function called add vote. This one's a bit easier. Async index. So we're going to say await window.contract .add vote prompt window local storage dot get item prompt. So that's going to, the prompt is going to be the key that like the votes be stored under. Index, the index is going to be which the index for the candidate that we're voting for is index, and then we're not done. We stop. So once we do that, we have to actually record the user, right? So await window dot contract dot record user. Object instance. Then essentially it's going to be the exact same thing as this layout here, but instead of index, we're going to type in our key, which is going to be user, and instead of index again, we're going to type in window.account ID. Now we have to go down to our buttons. So do Command F, look for button. And it's on click, right? So on click. There we go. We're going to create a callback function that's going to reference the add vote function, which is going to, let's see, which one is this? Okay, so this first index will be 0. There we go. Now search for the word vote. Do the same thing here. So on click. Then add vote. Oops, sorry. Callback function. Add vote 1. Hit save. And while we're actually working with these buttons here, let's do something else. Let's add a disable tag, disabled, to these buttons. And where it says, yeah, did user vote, right? Or change results display, where it says show results. We're going to take advantage of that and do like show results, which is returning a value of false right now, right? So, which means that like this button will not be disabled. And then I'm going to add that to here as well. So again, disable right now is set to false, which means that these buttons will remain active until the vote has been placed. And then if the user did vote, the results will display, and then true will cause these buttons to be disabled. And then in fact, we're going to take this change results display and just toss it in at the end of add vote. And that, and we're going to put in the word true here. So that's going to change this value from false to true once we click on this button. So I'm going to vote for Kirby. So let's see if this all works, right? You know, ooh, I have no idea what happened there. Okay, so I'm going to vote for Kirby. Let's see, did scream? Prompt not found. Oh, perfect. Awesome. So see, we can see our results. We can see that both Pikachu and Kirby somehow have 3 votes. I actually don't know how that's even possible. Why do you have 3 votes? Oh, because I was playing with this earlier. In the test application, it might still be referencing that. Yeah, let's try a different account. So log out, log in. I have a bunch of these accounts. Blah, 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 testnet. So I'm going to vote for Kirby again. I'm going to wait. So Kirby should have 4 if this is correct. Ooh, something is definitely not right. Okay. So let's go up here and see what's wrong. Add vote. Why is this returning a 3? Well, first, you know what? Actually, I don't know if there's anything wrong with that. It might be something as simple as I think I might know what it is. There it is. Huh, okay. Huh. Thank goodness. I thought something scary. Okay, literally I have not, I had no way of actually displaying this. So where it says 3, right? in the code, in the test code we created earlier, replace that with the state variables, candidate 1 votes, and candidate 2 votes. So Kirby should actually have 2 and Pikachu should have 0. What is going on? I vote 1. This should be 2. Change vote 2. There we go. Yay! Okay, there we go. So yeah, so Kirby has 2 votes. Pikachu has 0 votes. I love Pikachu, but Pikachu's definitely not my main in Smash. And let's try this whole flow again. So here we go. We are at our home page. You know, we want to participate in this poll, but first I'm going to switch my user out. So we log in. Go to blah blah blah.testnet. Blah 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 blah. Who wins Smash? This looks interesting. Let's go to the poll. Let's see Pikachu and Kirby load. We have our cool loading dots. We have a cool prompt right here. And then after that, we just say, I don't know, let's vote for Pikachu. Let's give Pikachu a vote. We wait. Should probably disable the button before while it's loading. Ooh, let's refresh the page here. There we go. Okay, so not sure why I didn't like update right away there, but that's okay. Pikachu has 1 vote and Kirby has 2 votes as we refresh the page. Yeah, so I mean, other than that weird little bug, which could, you know, it's not too big a deal. We have a functioning, upgraded version of Block Vote, much more streamlined, the custom logo and everything. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching this episode of Blockheads. If you guys had fun creating your version of Block Vote. Guys, if there's anything I can do to improve this video or any others, please let me know in the comments below. Of course, if you guys get stuck and you have any questions, you guys can find me on our near Discord channel. I'll also include that information in the description below. And we're going to be trying to do a better job of keeping these videos updated as our technology changes, so you guys can have the most up-to-date version of these projects for your portfolios and whatnot. Again, you can find me on our Discord channel, so reach out to me if you guys have a question. And guys, thank you so much for your time and have a great day. Oh my god. Yeah.
That's all, folks.